Bruh. Oh my goodness. So many of you may not be aware, but I did a podcast with the Hodge twins about a few days ago, okay? And it got pretty heated because they got exposed, right? I made them look like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I made them look like the Sambo soldiers that they are. Now, for some reason, people keep on underestimating me.
I count 2 guns, nigga.
And they hit me up. I'm like, yo, what are we talking about? He's like, okay, we're going to be talking about this. Let's get a date. I'm like, bet, right? I'm in LA, they in Vegas. So I spend time, I spend money to come to this podcast. There's me, the Hodge twins, this other black guy, another black guy, and then this Arab, right? The Palestinian. And we're going back and forth. And eventually it's looking bad for them. Now, in my experience, whenever it's looking bad, you usually have someone who tries to come in and, save the video. We've seen this before when, it's like, what's his name? Sam Teeter versus Steven Crowder. And right, they were rushing when they saw it was Sam Teeter. People were rushing.
Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Teeter. What a nightmare. I had no idea this was going to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy. This is where we are. Yeah, I told Dave. Remember I told you?
So they're getting blasted.
Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a reaction video. As you can tell, the amazing Lucas, I think a month or two ago, he actually had a debate with the Hodge twins, who have been, on YouTube and social media for a very long time, at least 15 years or so. I used to watch them when they were more so into bodybuilding and talking about relationships and just being comedians. And then of course they switched over and started doing more conservative reaction content. A lot of their content is based on watching black people act a fool and making fun of them and stuff like that. In my opinion, they're not the most intellectual content creators. I think they kind of on a grifting spree right now. But Amazing Lucas, he actually used to be in the conservative space, the black conservative space. That's how he got his platform. But he switched up a couple of years ago, and now he's like a liberal. But without further ado, let me continue.
Because I'm bringing up data, I'm bringing up facts. They clearly don't understand per capita versus raw numbers.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Because I asked them, hey, can you give me a stat for black people? And they're like, 1350, 13%. I'm like, okay, watch this. Can you give me a stat for white people?
Got him!
Well, if they commit 50% of crime, that means they must commit the other rest, right? Right? They didn't have anything, bro. I'm like, that's the point. That right there. So then I go off listing, hey, well, white men, when it comes to crime, when it comes to per capita, when it comes to larceny, when it comes to trafficking, right, which is what we're dealing with Epstein, when it comes to vandalism, when it comes to embezzlement, when it comes to, right, I'm listing a whole bunch of crimes per capita that are white men, and they're getting upset. Oh, right, when it comes to bestiality, when it comes to, I'm like, oh, what's the bestiality? How many people is that, right? Doesn't matter. The point that I was making is that you're highlighting this one stat, right? And we're not even looking at the exonerations. We're not looking at the false imprisonments. We're not looking at, we're not looking at any of that. The point is they try and make us the face of crime. I'm like, yo, you looking at one crime. We look at a litany of things, right? And I go and tell them, well, you name me the black person that caused your interest rates to go up. You name me the black person that caused the depression. You name me the black person that caused the recession. You name me a black person that caused your house to be deflated in value. You name me the black person that did that. Then I get them, I'm like, yo, you tell me, because they're just really like losing it. But they getting slayed, bro. They getting slayed. That's what's happening, bro. This is light work for me, right? Because both of them, they share a brain cell, okay? They passing the brain cell back and forth so they can talk to me. That's what's going on. Cause I'm like I'm not even worried at all. So I ask him again, I'm like, yo, can you name me how black racism, because that's what they want to say, oh, everyone's racist. Okay, well, I was like, can you name me how black racism has negatively impacted white people as a whole?
Got him!
This mofo brings up, well, what about what about this story with the white girl and everything? I'm like, that's anecdotal. This mofo doesn't know what anecdotal means. as God is my witness, bro. I'm talking to actual retards, and that's why I tell them. I was like, this is borderline mental retardation. This mofo doesn't know what per capita means. This other mofo doesn't know what what anecdotal means. He's like, I'm telling you, this is proof. I'm like, that's anecdotal, fam. I'm talking about as a whole. He's like, oh, you just see race. And I'm like, what do you mean I just see race? This country was founded off of race, right? We look at the 1790 Naturalization Act. Y'all know what that is? No. I'm like, that's what they're spamming right now. How it was white men of good stock, right? Good moral character. It wasn't until 1860 or whatever that birthright citizenship came involved. And I'm like, yo, if they had not just been racist, if they had just paused on the racism, we wouldn't have to worry about all the immigrants and everything that's happening. They all said Black Americans who are descendants from chattel slaves are now considered citizens, so be it. But that's not what they did, right? They said, well, anyone born here can be a citizen. And you see how Trump is trying to say exactly what they meant it for as, hey, this wasn't supposed to be for everyone, it was supposed to be for them. That's the point that I was making. They didn't like that. Then they're trying to tell me, oh, you just dealing in the past, right? Because of racism. So I'm like, okay, you're trying to act like the past doesn't have an impact on the present or the future? And these dingleberries told me no.
I haven't heard the word dingleberry since I was in like middle school, but as far as him debating the Hodge twins, and he said they both share a brain and pass it back and forth. The amazing Lucas, like I said, man, sometimes he's on point, sometimes he be reaching, but I wouldn't expect a very strong intellectual performance from the Hodge twins. They just don't come off as very intellectual individuals. They built their platform off of, entertainment, like a lot of people in this space. They were entertaining bodybuilders, and I didn't know they were as old as they are. I think they're in their early 50s now, so they've been in the game, like I said, for a minute. But I'm not surprised that they probably didn't perform very well in a debate like this. I just wish they would release the debate so the audience could, see for ourselves how it went down. But apparently they don't feel too good about it.
Now, I did a whole live stream of this after, because I was blown away by the stupidity. Because I said this, I'm dealing with the sea of stupidity. That's what I said. Now, I want you to understand, while I'm giving them this work, we have the Palestinian, the pale white Palestinian who's interjecting, right? Trying to say, well, that's not true. That's not true. Oh, what about white people? Oh, it's white people bad, huh? White people. I'm like, who is this? So throughout the interview, I'm telling him, have him have a seat. Tell him to have a seat. So he keeps on interjecting. He's like, you don't want any of that. I was like, no, I do. I do want some of that, bruh. Tell him to have a seat. Because he keeps on peanut gallery, right? Oh, that's not true. Oh, this and that. Oh, what study is that? And I'm like, whose man is this? And he's doing this throughout the interview, right? Throughout the interview. It's literally 3 versus 1. But every single time I address him and his peanut gallery, they get on me. Hey, it's not, he's not in this. I'm like, is this how y'all conduct the interview? Does he interject like this? And they're like, yeah, sometimes. I'm like, as frequent though? They're like, yeah, right. Now, we know, as I said before, the only time someone interjects is if you lose in the fight. If you lose in the fight, that's when somebody comes in and tries to, that's what he's doing, because they're getting blown out. So I'm trying to ignore him. But the first time he was like, oh, we're all N-words, right, to the Jews. And I heard that. I'm like, what the F did you say, right? I get it. I'm not allowing someone to just say the hard R, right, in my presence. Now, no one else responded to it. The 2 black men that were sitting down didn't respond to it. The twins didn't respond to it. I'm the only one. So I'm in a room full of Sambo soldiers, bruh. And they have this Palestinian. He talks about how he fled Palestine because of what was going on, and now he's with his family. Right? He said to the Jews, we're all inward. I'm like, you don't say that, right? I don't want to hear that word come out of your mouth, bro. And you have this black man He's been on videos with the twins before. You have him trying to say, hold on, because I said I'll smack I told him I smacked the dog ish out of him. I let him know that you don't do that, or there's going to be a physical repercussion, essentially. Now the Hodge twins were like, no, you're not. I was like, listen, you want to bet? I was like, I bet you. I told them, I was like, hey, there's no one in this room that's going to be able to stop me from putting hands on him. No one. And they're like, that's not true. I'll be able to stop you. And I was like, okay, let's count to 5 and test that, right? You want to count to 5? That's what I told them.
I count 2 guns, nigga.
I was like, let's count to 5. That's when the black dude started. He's like, everybody calm down now. Now, Lucas, he wasn't calling you that. It was the context. I said, I don't give a F about the context. I don't want to hear the N-word coming from this non-melanated, non-black person. I don't want to hear them, okay? It's simple as that. So we're getting into it. We go back to the podcast, right? We're going back to the interview. And I tell him, I was like, because it's Keith and I forgot the other one, because I forgot their names. I don't know their freaking names. I don't care. I don't watch their show. And that's why I started off the podcast saying, they're like, so do you watch our show? I was like, no, I don't watch your show. I don't know. Because they were asking, well, what do you think is the difference between us and you, right? Because they were trying, I think it was Kevin, he was trying to pronounce differentiation and he couldn't pronounce it. He was like, what's the differentiation? I was like, well, one is that I can pronounce differentiation. That's one that separates us, okay, first off. But going back to the past impacts the present and the future. I was like, Keith, that's the other one, Keith. I was like, Keith, do you fly? He was like, yes. I was like, do you do TSA? He was like, yes. I was like, where do you think that came from? That came from 9/11. And they're like, what does 9/11 have to do with anything? I was like, 9/11, right? The reason for that is what caused the Patriot Act. Okay, that's why we have the TSA. He was like, that's how it impacts your life. This man looked at me and said, no, it doesn't. And I'm like, do you not go through TSA? He was like, no, I go through TSA.
Aren't you Patrick Star?
Yep. Do you have to go through the scan and they take off your shoes and stuff? He's like, yeah.
And this is your ID.
Yep. Then it impacts your life. He's like, no, it doesn't. I still get to fly.
Then take it.
It's not my wallet.
And that's what I was like, okay, this is borderline retardation. You're telling me because you get to fly, TSA doesn't impact your life. And it's like, it obviously does impact your life. What are you talking about?
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
I was just awestruck by the level of stupidity that was on display. And it came to racism, right? Because I brought up the study where it talks about, hey, there's a father in the household, that, there's a mother in the household, they live in an affluent neighborhood, right? They're, good income, that one of the factors that will determine if the child will go to prison, okay, is the racial bias of the people around them, racial bias of the white people around them. They lose it. Oh, I don't believe you. I don't believe that. I'm like, you can look it up. What are you talking about? Then this fool starts interjecting whatever. I was like, why don't you shut the F up? Like, that's what you need to do. Shut the F up. So he says something like, blah, 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 F and N-word.
What did you say, nigga?
I'm like, that's when I get up. That's when I get up. I said, what the F did you say? I said, what the F did you say? The Hodge twins get up. They're like, hey, why are you going towards him, man? Why you getting in his face? I was like, I'm not getting in his face. I'm asking him a question. I said, I'm asking him, hey, what the F did you say? So now I got the Hodge twins in front of me, right? The dynamic is insane. I got 2 black men, right, in front of me protecting a pale Arab Palestinian who had just called me a hard R. Because before he was trying to say, well, I meant it in the context that we're all, N-words. This time he was using it to disparage me, right, as a pejorative. And he was trying to say, why are you getting up so upset? Why are you getting up so upset? This is what the Arab guy is saying to me, right? Because I got the Hodge twins right here. They trying to bury it. I don't give. Now, if I really wanted stuff to pop off, that wouldn't matter to me. But I'm like, why don't you? I was like, stand on 10, be a man, say what you said. Didn't you say it? He was like, yeah, I said it. And that's when the Hodge twins was like, it's just a word. And then
Stop it right there. We at the 15-minute mark. I just want to say this right here in closing. I wish the Hodge twins would release the debate. It sounded like it was a lot of drama. I think it would have did some pretty decent ratings, but it might have made them look bad if the Amazing Lucas is telling the truth, which I believe he is. I think he might be exaggerating some stuff, but as far as him being intellectually stronger than the Hodge twins, I definitely can see that. I mean, I don't think the Amazing Lucas is that intellectual either, but he is more intellectual than the Hodge twins. And all the race debates and crime, and I ain't gonna get into all that because that's gonna make the video too long. Some of the stuff he says is true. Some of the stuff he says is not true. Some of those statistics can be misleading. You just got to kind of know how to properly dissect them and look into them. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. I don't know if any of y'all follow the Hodge twins or the Amazing Lucas. I'll look at the Amazing Lucas every now and then. I'll look at the Hodge twins every now and then, depending on what they're talking about. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all follow. Make sure y'all comment, subscribe. Peace.